Taizoba, thank you for joining us. Here are the weekly highlights of Arakan. Regime bombs Bonajan with jet fighters. Arakan Army beeps up security along Bangladesh border. Heavy fighting erupts near Taung Maw Oo naval station in Kyaukphyu. More than 10 Muslims killed and boat capsized in Mrauk-U. Locals urge wider use of air raid warning systems in Arakan State. FDA under ULA warns private pharmacies against selling free TB and ART medicines. Fighting has continued across Arakan State for more than 2 years as the Arakan Army presses its offensives. From May 11th to 17th of 2026, covering the conflict and other regional news, we'll be bringing you key developments regarding the situation in Arakan. Regime bombs Bonajan with jet fighters. The regime carried out airstrikes on the town of Bonajan, controlled by the Arakan Army, using 2 jet fighters on the morning of May 15th. According to local residents, the bombing took place after 8:30 a.m. on Friday, while a kamikaze drone launched from Saitwe also targeted the area. At least 4 houses were destroyed in the bombing, and DMG is still investigating whether there were any civilian casualties. The Arakan Army captured Bonajan on March 4th, 2024, but residents have still been unable to return home as the regime continues shelling the area from Saitwe. The regime frequently carries out airstrikes, naval artillery attacks, and kamikaze drone strikes on Bonajan, Rathedang, and Bautau townships, which are located near Saitwe. Arakan Army beeps up security along Bangladesh border. The Arakan Army has recently strengthened security measures along the border between Arakan State and Bangladesh and Bautau township, according to local residents. People familiar with the situation said security along the border has been tightened to help maintain regional stability and prevent the movement of Muslim armed groups. The Arakan Army has informed residents that anyone traveling for essential matters or emergency medical reasons must first report to administrative and security checkpoints operated by the United League of Arakan before continuing their journey. In addition, the Arakan Army has advised people not to travel alone or in small groups through forested or remote areas. Muslim armed groups have reportedly established bases near the Bangladesh border and frequently cross into Arakan State to carry out attacks. Alongside increased security operations in border areas, the Arakan Army has also intensified patrols and security activities in Arakan waters. The Arakan Coast Guard, which operates under the Arakan Army, has frequently detained Bangladeshi fishermen accused of illegally entering Arakan waters and later returned them to the Bangladeshi side. Heavy fighting erupts near Taung Maw Oo naval station in Kyaukphyu. Intense clashes have broken out near Awatang village in Kyaukphyu township near the Arakan Army and regime forces advancing from the Taung Maw Oo naval station, with the military reportedly using 2 jet fighters to support its ground offensive through aerial bombardments. At around 3 p.m. on May 13th, 2 hunter jet fighters carried out bombing raids near Mrauk-U and Sabechang villages, located close to Sane town in Kyaukphyu township. The regime has reportedly been reinforcing troops from the Taung Maw Oo naval station in an attempt to launch an offensive towards Sane town, which is under Arakan Army control, resulting in fierce ongoing clashes. In Kyaukphyu township, the regime has frequently conducted drone attacks, naval artillery shelling, and airstrikes targeting not only conflict zones, but also areas where internally displaced persons, IDPs, are sheltering. As a result, residents from villages including Duecha, Alidoin, Sane, and Chause has been forced to flee to safer locations. Fierce fighting also broke out in Kyaukphyu township in April, during which the Arakan Army reportedly captured several military outposts. Military observers believe the regime is reinforcing its troops and launching counter-offensives, which could lead to even more intense clashes in the area. More than 10 Muslims killed and boat capsized in Mrauk-U. More than 10 Muslims were killed after a boat capsized in Mrauk-U township, Arakan State, an area controlled by the Arakan Army according to the preliminary reports. On the evening of May 12th, residents of Alting village and Mrauk township were returning by boat along the Limro River after attending a football match in Shandong village, Mrauk township. One of the 2 boats carrying the passengers capsized, resulting in the deaths of more than 10 people. Preliminary information indicates that the deceased include residents of Alting village as well as people from Mambra, Mrauk, and Mribong townships. The victims were males ranging in age from 8 to over 50 years old. Boat accidents frequently occur in Arakan State, a region with many rivers and long coastline, often resulting in fatalities among local residents. The incident highlights the dangers of overcrowding on motorboats traveling along rivers and creeks. Local urge wider use of air raid warning systems in Arakan State. As the regime intensifies airstrikes in areas controlled by the Arakan Army in Arakan State, Local residents are calling for the effective operation of already installed air raid warning systems to improve civilian safety. Although warning systems have been installed in some areas controlled by the Arakan Army, residents said many are rarely used in practice, with sirens remaining silent even when aircraft are flying overhead. Recently, the regime has increasingly carried out coordinated bombing raids using groups of aircraft, significantly escalating its air operations across Arakan State. On May 7th, regime forces used multiple aircraft to conduct prolonged bombing raids in Mrauk-U and Kyaukphyu townships on the same day. During the attacks, 3 people were killed and at least 10 others were injured. The rise in aerial bombardments has heightened fear among local residents, many of whom now live under constant concern over further strikes. The regime has repeatedly carried out airstrikes on non-military targets in areas controlled by the Arakan Army, including schools, monasteries, hospitals, and densely populated civilian locations, worsening security conditions for residents. As a result, locals are urging authorities to prioritize the installation of air raid warning systems at schools, hospitals, monasteries, and crowded public areas. Residents also noted that online-based warning systems are ineffective in Arakan State due to internet and mobile network shutdowns, increasing the need for more ground-based warning systems. FDA under ULA warns private pharmacies against selling TB and ART medicines. The Food and Drug Administration under the United League of Arakan has urged private pharmacies not to sell TB and ART medicines distributed free of charge. The FDA under the Arakan Department of Public Health issued a warning urging private pharmacies and clinics not to import and sell TB and ART medicines provided free of charge for the public in Arakan State. Regarding this matter, FDA officials are reportedly conducting field inspections at private pharmacies and clinics in various townships including Mrauk-U, Mrauk-U, Kyaukphyu, Bonajan, and Rathedang. Officials warned against selling TB and ART medicines provided free of charge to the public for profit, and also strictly prohibited the sale of expired or unsafe medicines. Healthcare workers stated that medicines used in the treatment of TB and HIV/AIDS are crucial for patients to take systematically and on time. They also analyzed that if medicine shortages or systematic trading issues occur, the effectiveness of treatment could decline. These were the main highlights of the past week in Arakan. This program is presented every Tuesday, so please stay tuned. May all people of Arakan and the world stay healthy and safe.